Having all your eggs in one basket is only a good idea at an Easter egg hunt. Kids enjoy the logic behind it. You gather everything in one spot, stack it up, and the pile shows you won. Clean, simple, satisfying. For casino marketers, it's exactly how you end up explaining to your GM why the numbers seem fine right until they don't. I originally wrote a post about this as a warning about media channels. Don't rely on a single medium. Diversify your efforts. And although that advice still applies, in 2026, there's a more subtle version of the same issue lurking that most teams aren't noticing. Most casino marketing teams aren't making a big mistake. They're making a quieter one. They've let one channel or one metric carry too much weight, and they've built a plan around it without realizing it. Welcome to Drive Time Marketing. Hi there, and welcome back to Drive Time Marketing, the show where we help casino marketers turn strategy into action and insights into impact. I'm Julia Carcamo. In today's episode, we're talking about putting all your marketing eggs into one basket. Most casino marketing teams aren't making a big mistake. They're making quieter ones. They've let one channel or one metric carry too much weight, and they've built a plan around it without realizing. The classic approach looks like this. Direct mail is effective, so you focus more on it. Offer redemption numbers stay steady, so you call it loyalty. Meanwhile, your retail guest pipeline quietly shrinks. Your social presence goes dark between events, and your billboard hasn't changed creative in 8 months. None of those decisions seemed like a mistake at the time. That's what makes this specific trap so convincing. The original advice, don't put all your marketing eggs in one basket, focused on maintaining channel balance. My updated perspective emphasizes system thinking. It's not just that relying on a single channel makes your setup fragile. It's that over-relying on one part of your marketing system can cause the entire system to break down, even the parts you weren't paying attention to. So here's my view of regional casino marketing teams at this moment. And I say this as someone who's experienced every version of it. Offer redemption increases, and we call it growth, without questioning whether we're building loyalty or merely encouraging trips. Clicks and affordable reach rise, and we label it awareness without considering if any of it actually brings people closer to visiting. One channel shows a strong return on ad spend, and we shift budget to it without asking if it would perform the same if everything around it stopped. Each of these appears like progress on its own. In a system, they serve as warning signs. When you overfocus on offer redemption, you start training guests to visit only when they see something in their inbox or mailbox. Over time, the offer becomes the main reason to visit, not your property, your team, or the experience you've created. A colleague of mine called this the spiraling vortex of death, and the name fits its dramatic effect. Once caught in it, reducing the offer decreases visits. Keeping it steady increases reinvestment. Raising it to chase unchanged behavior only speeds up the cycle. Years ago, Bed Bath & Beyond shaped its entire identity around the 20% off coupon. Customers loved those coupons. And when the coupons stopped, the business declined. The channel version of this issue is similar. If your digital ROAS appears strong partly because your billboard keeps you top of mind on the same commute route, and you cut the billboard to fund more digital, your ROAS might quietly decline, and you may never realize the connection. The goal isn't to find the best channel, but to create a channel mix where each component enhances the others. Let me take you back for a moment, because the history here is enlightening. For casinos, there was a time when having the largest ad in the local paper was essential, preferably in color rather than cheap spot color. They ran it every week. Customers clipped the coupons and consistently brought them in. Then one day, someone in the room openly said what everyone was thinking. We're paying for the ad and discounting the business at the same time. It took us a while to realize, no, really to accept, that our customers weren't just reading the paper, they were watching television. Then they started streaming. Soon, they were everywhere at once. And through it all, outdoor advertising was doing something the rest of us underestimated. I used to work for a smart man who could drive any creative person a little crazy. Make that a lot crazy. He had one request every time we presented a campaign. He wanted to see the billboard. Not the ads, not the television spots, not the digital creative, just the billboard. And he didn't want us to explain it. He would look at it and know immediately whether it worked. He understood something that took me longer to appreciate. If you can make your message land in 7 seconds at 65 miles an hour, everything else gets way easier. If you can't, you're probably overcomplicating it. Yeah, he was a smart man. That instinct still matters in 2026. Traditional media still accounts for nearly $78 billion in annual U.S. ad spending. Out-of-home advertising is growing, and radio captures close to 90% of all ad-supported audio listening time, mainly in vehicles. Linear television is evolving, not declining. For regional casinos, your best guests aren't living purely digital lives. They pass your billboards while commuting. They tune into morning radio. A hybrid audience requires a hybrid strategy. The question isn't whether to include traditional channels, it's which ones fit your specific market and connect to your overall efforts. If you want to dive deeper into which traditional channels truly serve budget and how to leverage them differently, I've outlined that specifically for regional casino teams and for the full strategic case for traditional media and regional casino marketing, including the emotional resonance argument and measurability myth. That's worth a read before your next planning conversation. I'll include those links in the show notes. Promotions and events are the energy that drives a property. They give guests a reason to visit and a story to share across all other channels. More importantly, they motivate guests to use their players' cards, which in turn helps build our database and provides the information we need to attract them back. The better question to ask about any promotion isn't what will it cost, it's what behavior does this encourage, and does that behavior lead to something we actually want more of? A well-designed event provides a reason to visit and a story worth sharing across various channels. Conversely, a poorly designed event draws a crowd that costs you more than it earns and can weaken the loyalty you've built with your regulars, even if it fills the floor for one night. Now, direct marketing to me is powerful, but it can also be a dangerous crutch. Casino marketers have long regarded direct marketing as their primary domain, and for good reason. The data advantage is real. But familiarity can become a hindrance. When direct is your main channel, you're basically paying for each visit twice. Once with media spend to raise awareness, and again with an offer to motivate action. This is the path to the vicious cycle I mentioned earlier. Cut back on the offer and visits drop. Keep it steady and reinvestment increases. Raise it and you've just conditioned your guests to come only for what's in the envelope. But there's another common version of this problem that's much less talked about. Operators who have the data, but don't use it. I'll make it personal. I own over 20 pairs of sunglasses from the same designer. I know it's a shopping problem, but my buying pattern across those 20 plus pairs stays consistent. There's a clear common thread in the styles I prefer. Still, I get emails from that brand featuring styles I would never consider. They have years of purchase data on me and a clear behavioral signal, yet they keep sending me the wrong message. That's what wasted loyalty data looks like from the guest perspective. Your casino has years of behavioral data on your top players, visit frequency, preferred times of day, game choices, and response patterns. If your direct marketing program isn't using those signals to personalize beyond just offers, you have the data advantage and are leaving opportunities on the table. The goal of direct marketing should be to strengthen relationships and reward true loyalty, not to replace the brand equity that naturally attracts guests. And digital is a friction reducer and precision amplifier. Your website, email, and SMS channels are where your relationships with your database come alive. In 2026, your own digital content also needs to show expertise and address real questions. Search engines, and now LLMs, increasingly reward depth over volume. Paid digital has become a precise tool, but it performs best when it amplifies what's already working across your other channels, rather than running a separate strategy disconnected from the rest of your plan. And what works on social media for regional casinos is often simpler than teams expect. Real moments, real people, real stories. Your floor team's energy during a big event, a behind-the-scenes look before a tournament, a winner's authentic reaction. This kind of content outperforms polished promotional graphics because it's what people genuinely want to watch. Social also functions as a real-time listening tool. What your guests comment on, ask about, and react should inform your other channels rather than stay unused in your analytics dashboard. Now let's shift our gears to loyalty and host touch. It's the costliest basket to reconstruct. This is the relationship layer to your marketing system, and it's the most costly part to rebuild once it breaks. Your top tier guests have choices, and they're aware of it. The moment they feel like a number instead of a regular, they start testing boundaries. ADT softens before it appears in your reports, and everything else in your marketing system ultimately aims to protect this relationship. After the break, we'll talk about how the channel mix can affect results, and I'll share a rebalancing strategy. This summer, Casino Marketing Bootcamp is bringing you 2 different ways to get stronger. First, there's Casino Marketing Bootcamp Midwest, happening August 4th, 5th, and 6th in Tulsa. This is where we really put the bootcamp into Casino Marketing Bootcamp. It's hands-on, practical, and built for casino marketers who need time to step back, think clearly, and build stronger marketing plans and calendars. The tagline says it best: it's where your ideas become your blueprint for success. Then later in the month, on August 24th and 25th, we're launching the new Casino Marketing Bootcamp, Direct Marketing. I'm especially excited about this one because direct marketing is still one of the most powerful engines we have as casino marketers. This event is all about helping you make every list, every offer, and every dollar work harder. So whether your team needs to build a plan or improve one of the most important performance engines in your department, there's a Casino Marketing Bootcamp for you this summer. And like all of our events, both include early bird pricing and discounts for groups of 3 or more. You can learn more and register at casinomarketingbootcamp.com. Welcome back. There's a line I've believed in since I first wrote the original post. The best marketers don't just spread their efforts across channels, they connect them so that they multiply. A guest's decision to visit your property isn't usually based on a single moment. It's a sequence. They pass your billboard Monday morning. They hear your radio spot during the commute home. They get an email on Thursday. That makes the weekend seem like a good time to come in. They scroll past your social post Friday evening, see the tournament looks like a little bit of fun, and then they show up on Saturday. No single touch point sealed that visit. They all contributed. When those touch points are aligned, when the billboard message matches the email offer and the social post energy, the cost of driving a visit decreases. When they're not connected, you spend more, but achieve less. Now here's how connected baskets work as a system. Traditional advertising builds mental availability. So when your direct mail arrives, the guest already has a positive association with your property. You're not introducing yourself, you're reaffirming a relationship. Digital and SMS ease the process. So when a guest is ready to act, the path from "I'm thinking about going" to "I'm on my way" is as short as possible. Loyalty and host touch protect share wallet, so your best guests don't have reason to check out what the competitor offers this weekend. You're not competing for their next visit, you've already secured it. Promotions give people reasons to visit, but they have to align with your brand. An event that attracts the wrong crowd at the wrong price can weaken the loyalty you've built with your regulars, even if it brings in guests for one night. The question worth considering isn't, are we in all channels? It's, are our channels conveying the same story, and are they reinforcing each other? Now, knowing your system has gaps is one thing. Knowing what to do about it Monday morning is another. You don't need to overhaul your entire channel mix. Just conduct a targeted test that offers actionable insights and a story to share with leadership. So in weeks 1 through 2, I want you to assign each channel a single job and 1 KPI. Review your current channel list and make sure that each one of your channels is either in the role of acquire, convert, retain, or protect. Then identify a single KPI for each channel that truly measures whether it's fulfilling that role. The goal of this step isn't to create a report, it's to prevent double counting wins across channels and to identify which parts of the system lack a clear owner. If 2 channels are tracking the same metric and claiming the same credit, that's a conversation worth having before planning another quarter. Now in weeks 3 through 6, you're going to conduct 2 focus tests. Test A is about offer dependency. So I want you to select 10% of one mid-tier segment and decrease the offer frequency or value by a significant amount, not just a rounding error. Monitor trips and reinvestment throughout the test period. If trips stay steady and reinvestment improves, you've confirmed that there's room to rebalance. Now, if trips decline, you've learned something valuable about how that segment makes decisions. Test B is about message synchronization. Select one upcoming promotion and ensure that the message is consistent across out-of-home, radio, email, social media, all telling the same story within the same time frame. Track new player enrollments and additional trips compared to similar promotion runs without coordination. The difference highlights the cumulative effect you may have been missing. Now, weeks 7 through 12, you turn successful practices into a repeatable schedule. This is where most teams fall short. They run a test, record the results somewhere, and move on to the next campaign. The discipline here involves turning what worked into a routine, a default way of planning what you repeat, improved, and then own. If the message sync test showed lift, then you incorporate coordinated windows into your quarterly planning calendar. If the offer dependency test indicated that you have more room than expected, you set a new reinvestment ceiling for that segment and stick to it. Document both to ensure the next person in your seat starts from a stronger baseline. The media landscape has evolved significantly since I first wrote my original posts. The channels have increased, the data has become more detailed, the pressure to deliver short-term results has grown stronger, and the temptation to focus on whatever metric looks best this quarter has never been greater. But the principle remains unchanged. Some baskets deserve more eggs than others based on your market, your guess, and what the evidence actually tells you. None should hold them all. And the marketing teams that consistently outperform their competitors aren't necessarily spending more, they're aligning their efforts more intentionally, so each channel enhances the others. That's not a complicated idea, but it does require stepping back from the individual channel reports long enough to see the entire system. If your team hasn't had that conversation lately, it's time to have it. Thanks for joining me on this week's edition of Drive Time Marketing.